All right, so we made it out here to Reptilandia. I'm here with Ryu of Blackstone Exotics. She has, in my opinion, the best project of Coachwhips and racers, probably in the entire United States. This animal right here is proof of that alone. So I guess talk to us a little bit about your project with the Coachwhips and what makes them so special.
Yeah, so this big guy right here was actually from Steven. So he partially started my addiction. Thanks a lot, Steven.
You're welcome.
As you can see, he's just beautiful naturally. A lot of North American colubrids and stuff are kind of underrated because they're not super rare, you know, they're from here. But
Right.
as you can see, they're so variable. And Coachwhips, they come in like blacks, pinks, and I'll show you another one that's really cool as a surprise for those who don't already know.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, this is one of my big breeder males. He's sired maybe 3 clutches now, and he's really cool. Another thing that's really cool about him is their big eyes. You know, they're very, very visually driven. So something could be like far away from them, and they notice it right away. And it's kind of tricky with feeding babies for that exact reason. So yeah, here's the big male. This is how I keep them. Typically, a lot of people don't think you can actually keep them well in captivity. I've heard stories of people trying, you know, back in the day, and they either die or they get nose rubbed. And as you can see, I don't have any trouble with that. The trick is, it's good to have length, but also it's good to have layers because it kind of keeps them busy. Coachwhips, as you know, you can find them under a lot of boards in the wild, and there's tree stumps, and then there's a little kind of like a hide box and nesting box where I have like moss and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a lot of layers. They like it really hot. It's probably around like 130 under the basket spot. Around 78-ish on the cool side in the morning, and then as the heat rises, it's about 82 on the cool side. So
Very cool.
yeah, and I give all of my racers and as many snakes as I can UVB because I think that's also important, and not a lot of people do that. But
I feel like especially for a kind of more diurnally active species as well, in the wild, they're going to experience a lot more of that than you know, a nocturnal species.
And they can get away from it if they want to, or they can sit under it, and they spend a lot of time sitting under it. I'll show you the one that isn't a common color, but he's in shed right now, so it's not as crazy looking as. As you can see, there's so many spots to hide, and they absolutely love that. This is an albino Coachwhip, and this is a wild-caught animal from Connor Wardle. So shout out to him for very graciously raising it as a baby that was found in the wild, and then gifting this beautiful animal to me. So
that's amazing.
This is one of 2 known albinos. So I'm really hoping to work on a project where I maybe eventually produce some visual albinos, because this is such a beautiful animal. Like, for example, I got some hets recently. They don't look like anything crazy yet.
They sure act like crazy though.
Yeah, absolutely. Coachwhips, they start off kind of like a brown tan color like this, and they start developing from their head down into their colors that they're going to be, and I'll show an example.
Okay. So what did this guy look like as a baby, the albino?
So this guy was really crazy. We can probably put up a photo of him.
Yeah.
He honestly looked like most albino, like baby corn snakes and stuff like that, where there was more patterns and stuff, and he's much brighter. But he's in shed right now. Usually he's a lot brighter orange and white. So he was very different. So it's one of those things where you really get to see how they turn out. It's like a surprise. So I'll show you one of my first year babies from, I think it's 23. This is from the pink pair. I pulled her out because she's very bitey, so I had to get her out ahead of time, otherwise she'd go for my fingers. But as you can see, it starts off in the head, and it's almost like, you know, the ink is like fading into the rest of the body.
Yeah.
So over time, she'll develop those beautiful pink colors just like her parents.
You can already see a lot of it coming through a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of those bands down the body.
Yep, just like the male.
And just the contrast on the head is so cool as well.
Yeah.
What a beautiful snake.
Yeah, they're super underrated snakes. I mean, they're super smart. They're hilarious. They display well, and they can be really friendly. Just getting used to being around humans.
I feel like Coachwhips have always had a reputation of being flighty, aggressive, like you were saying at the beginning, just not good captives. Why do you think that is, and what would you say to anybody who has that opinion?
I think, because these are such fast racers in the wild,
right?
And you're literally diving for them, so that's terrifying. Imagine a giant person just grabbing you.
Mm-hmm.
So at first, they'll be biting and flighty and do whatever they can to get, out of your hands. But once they kind of learn that you're feeding them, you figure out the right way to pick them up, which is not grabbing them, especially a wild one. You just kind of gently pick them up so they feel like they're kind of stable.
Sure.
And like I said, over time, they just kind of learn.
Makes sense.
That's not really a threat. They're really, really smart. So.
Very nice.
Yeah. A lot of Coachwhips, babies. They're just everywhere. So, yeah.
Cool. So what do you got here?
So this is one of last year's babies. This is one of my holdbacks, and there's a specific reasoning for that. You can see these weird spots if you sit still, right here and here, and so it's going to be interesting to see how they turn out. He has gold flecks and white flecks around his body. He has a stripe down. And as he gets older, it becomes more prevalent, just like the pink on his head too. So.
Wow, that's super neat. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah. Like I said, once you get used to them, just like any other species, when you really get used to breeding them and stuff, you kind of notice oh, that's different. I'm gonna keep that one.
Yeah, 100%.
So they're very interesting. Very cool. So this is Red Racer. They're from California. As you can see, that is very natural, beautiful red stripes, and the black head is what they're famous for. They also start off very different from their final colors. Start off kind of a grayish coloration, and then they start developing as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're very, very reminiscent of Coachwhips.
Yeah, they are.
But a good bit smaller then? Is she a full-grown adult?
This is a full-grown adult.
Okay.
And she does not like people, as you can see, but she can get away with it because she has pretty privilege.
That black neck is so incredible. Just the contrast. Yeah, that's it's a stunning snake, and truly, I really hope that species like this become more prevalent in the hobby going forward, because the natural beauty of the snake that you could overlook because it's native as a keeper in the U.S. But this really, is absolutely exceptional in the colubrid world, even compared to species worldwide. To me, there's no reason why this shouldn't be as popular as, king rats or beauty snakes or, anything like that, Gonyosoma, some of the more fast-moving colubrids from around the world. Just because this is a U.S. native species is probably a reason why it's overlooked. So these guys are some buttermilk racers. The female right there is from my friend Courtney. She's on breeding loan. She's absolutely beautiful. That's a typical buttermilk look. And then my male right here, that's not a typical look for them, but he's absolutely beautiful nonetheless. Okay, yeah, he looks a lot more like a blue racer to me, just at first glance. Is this sexual dimorphism, or he's just a patternless oddball individual? Just an individual, just like the Coachwhips, they can be completely different. Okay. But yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's like one of those things. It's like we're looking for the rarest snake or from all over the world, and we have all these beautiful animals right in our backyard that we're not giving enough credit to. And these are full grown? Yeah, those are full grown. So a pretty manageable species if someone wants a racer but doesn't have a bunch of room for a large Coachwhip or something. Yeah. This could be a reasonable alternative that is still insanely beautiful. Yeah, and I keep all my racers just like the Coachwhips when it comes to, different levels and platforms and stuff.
and he's always hungry.
I can tell. Beautiful.
This is an absolutely excellent example of a buttermilk racer. A beautiful white head. Unfortunately, this female has an injury, as you can see. Like a lot of snakes are found, it was caught in somebody's garden netting and couldn't get out. So basically the scales were so constricted here that she couldn't even get food down.
Wow.
So we had to carefully remove these scales so we can let them grow back regularly so she can actually eat bigger meals, because right now it's little tiny meals, so she can make sure to get them down.
Well, good thing she ended up with you, first and foremost. And second, I mean, what an absolutely stunning snake. I love how the speckling almost overtakes the actual like base color of the animal, especially up top. She's just like a snowflake. That's what an amazing snake. And despite everything that has happened with this animal, very calm, placid individual. You took her right out, no hassle. That's incredible.
Yeah, she's very sweet.
All right, everybody, thank you for checking out part 1 of the tour of Blackstone Exotics. If you want to keep up with everything that Ryu has going on, all of her links are in the description below. For me, I'm on Instagram at Scrub Shepherd, Stephen Cush on Facebook, Cush Reptile on Morph Market. That's where I post some of my available animals. And I also host a podcast called Cush's Corner on the Trap Talk Reptile Network every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you guys again for checking out that video, and I catch you all back here next week for another one.